What's up, homies? I told you guys we're going to be doing a daily video on YouTube. I don't know what each subject is going to be about until that day because I'm a spur of the moment kind of guy. Well, I had a fellow rancher reach out to me and he was asking a very interesting question. He was like, Captain, something that I always think about, because as a cowboy, I'm trying to get better with nature, and how we can heal our soils. And then I think about you out there healing our waters. What can we do more about healing our waters? Is there a way? And I was telling him about blue carbon, what I like to call blue carbon, which is carbon sequestration used in the ocean. So our mangroves, our seagrasses, our coral reefs, these are all huge carbon sinks. Believe it or not, before Florida killed a lot of its seagrass, unfortunately, seagrass in the Florida area and the Gulf of Mexico sequestered more carbon than the Amazon rainforest. And we don't need to forget that 70% of the oxygen that we breathe also comes from the ocean. But let's take a step back out on land. This concept is real. I personally haven't had time to dive too deep into this book yet. It has been a great read so far, but I know a lot about this subject as far as, mark my words, our cowboys are going to be our biggest eco warriors in the game of carbon sequestration. Think about this, guys. I know our cowboys get a lot of bad rap. Cattle, they're killing the planet. Their cow farts are killing the planet. Well, here's the truth coming from Captain Planet. Cattle are not killing the planet. The management is. I think my little thingy's moving on me. My tripod's giving out. If you keep seeing my eyes going, is the camera moving? But mark my words here. It's the management. There were more bison. I was about to say buffalo, and then people get confused. The American bison, what we Lakota call buffalo. But there was more bison in America at one time than there are cows now. So it's not the number of the hooves. It's not how the mouth works. The herbivore is just an herbivore, like the cow and the bison. What's causing the damage is our management. And I have a lot of different friends all over the country, from the guy in Georgia that I was just talking to on the phone, who's a rancher using his cattle to help fight off kudzu, which is also feeding his cows extra protein, which, if anybody cowboys, it's some good stuff. But I've got friends out in Oregon that are working on carbon sequestration, like my buddy Hobbs with Sister Cattle Company. It's some amazing things that I'm seeing, guys. Now, carbon sequestration is such a big deal right now that, believe it or not, there are companies that are building these giant machines that can literally take carbon out of the air and safely store it. So think about this. We can safely store it. Plus, the same company has figured out how to basically take our waste and turn it into a fuel that can run in our cars. That's pretty awesome. However, not that I'm opposed to these machines, because I'm 100% for technologies that can help save our planet. Like my mentor, Dr. Coral, says, aka Dr. David Vaughn, one of the lead scientists in the world for coral restoration. Like he told me once, Garrett, technology got us in this problem most likely with the environment, but it'll be technology that can bring us out of it. So I, for one, think that it's way more successful to depend on technology than to depend on all of our minds changing all at once and everyone going out and ripping up their yards and putting in native landscape. But my cowboy friends, they're really starting to step up to the plate. And here in the future, another 20 years from now, you're going to see cowboys are selling meat is going to be their side hustle, because they're going to be making more money sequestering carbon. Now, what I mean by this is we can use our cattle, guys, to mimic the buffalo herd systems. I actually had one of my good friends, Drew Ricketts, that I went to high school with. He got his PhD in buffalo migration patterns pre-European settlements, as far as how we can take our cattle and mimic this kind of system, and we can do this by imagining. I'm going to just make it real simple. This is your field, right? You've got your field in a big fence and you got all your cows in it. Well, how we can start changing things is putting some fence in between here, gridding this off, and then moving our cattle. And as we move our cattle, we create the same thing as what the bison were doing, this stampeding effect, and it's actually how nature in a lot of places evolved to thrive. By being chewed on a little bit, not decimated clear to the ground, and that manure stamped in. So think about this, guys. To an herbivore like a bison, it's not natural to stand and eat in your own feces and urine. So these herds, they would move. And the reason why these herds would move is because it's natural for an animal to just kind of want to move away from where he just pooped and peed before he just starts eating in it, right? So these migration patterns were always moving, and we can recreate that with our own ranching styles. Like I said, I've seen several different farmers that are already implementing this, farmers that, care about the planet. And that's what we don't really see a lot of times is our farmers and cowboys. We don't see that on the news, that they care about the planet too. Whether you're growing crops or growing cattle, when you treat the land wrong, it's a potential of losing everything you have, including your legacy as a farmer or rancher. And I, for one, know how important that is. Call it ego. I call it honor. I call it honor. Honoring ourselves, honoring our family names, honoring what our people that came before us built for us, and maintaining that. But we're going to have to get into this shift, guys, because you're already seeing cowboys are under attack. We're facing things that we've never even seen before, and it's getting more and more expensive to manage everything. But if we start doing things a little bit differently, I really think that we could stay ahead of the game. We can change now, as my buddy Hobbs likes to say. We can change voluntarily right now, or we can lose our asses when we're forced to change down the road. And I really, really, really love cowboys like Mr. Hobbs there, a sister cattle company out of Central Oregon, who's taken the time to explain things like this to people. So if you have a tiki-talkie, I know he's got one of those. I bet he's got him a YouTube as well, the sister cattle company. And he's always talking about things like this. Of course, I don't go into very much depth because I know that's not why people follow my page. However, as an agricultural scientist too, I want to talk about different ways that we are saving the planet using ranching and agriculture. So as we get better, it's better for the environment, because believe it or not, when nutrients, whether it's farm or the cattle, and it's making its way to the water, it means it's not on the farm, and the farmer or the rancher's losing money. But I really think it's interesting to see the concept shift from using our cows as just a source of meat to using our cows to help save the planet, using our cows to help sequester carbon and keep carbon where it needs to be. And not increasing our effects of climate change as far as what humans are doing to that balance. Climate change is natural, guys, but according to science, we humans have sped it up by about 900 years, meaning today it's about 900 years hotter than it should be. That's actually not too bad for Earth time, but it's still a little bit too fast. There's a lot of species suffering from this, particularly coral reefs. Maybe for tomorrow's video, we can talk about coral bleaching and how our warmer, more acidic oceans are causing over 50% of our coral reefs to have already died. Sadly, scientists project that coral reefs will be extinct by 2050, but not if Captain Planet and Dr. Coral have anything to do about that. We plan on reskinning the world's reefs before they even die. And maybe we'll get into what the term reskinning reefs means. Thanks for tuning in, guys. One love.